Hello, everybody. I don't know if you're catching this live or at another time, but I'm going to be doing some live broadcasts to try to engage people more with what's going on with them mentally, emotionally, psychologically, all of that. There's too much misinformation out there about what mental illness is, what mental illness isn't. So I'm just going, and by the way, the whole idea of this is if you're catching this live, please submit a question. Okay, I don't want this to be me just talking and people just listening. There's way too much of that online. I mean, obviously that's what, the majority of content is somebody who thinks, hey, I know how to help people, and this is what I'm going to put out there as information. And a lot of times it's misinformation. So again, my name is Dr. Stephen Walker. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. My doctorate in clinical psych, master's in counseling psych, undergraduate degree in communications from Penn State. So I've been in this field for over 20 years, and I want you to submit a question. If you're watching this live, please submit a question about mental illness. The title of it is Everyone Has Issues. So why is that? And by the way, that's one of my feeds to my website, everyoneHasIssues.com. You can also reach me at licensedpsychologist.com, licensedpsychology.com, or Dr. Stephen Walker, and doctor is obviously Dr. Stephen Walker.com. So again, I'm going to try to do this more live so that you can be part of it. So if you're catching this and you want to submit a question, please do it. I'm live. This is live. This is happening as, if you're catching this. If you have a question about your own mental illness, if you have a question about somebody else's mental illness, I just did something live on my Facebook page where I took some questions, and I can read a few of the questions that were submitted. But what I'm hoping is that as I do more of these, the hope is that people will begin engaging with their mental illness like they do with their physical illness. It's not too often that you see people ashamed of their physical illness. Like you don't see somebody who has the flu saying, oh, I'm so ashamed that I have the flu. I better not tell anyone I have the flu because people are going to judge me. And that's with mental illness. It's just the opposite. People have these, and I have talked about this many times, but they're degrees of mental illness. It's not you either have mental illness or you don't. Everybody has a degree of mental illness. Everybody. Some are more extreme, like some people with the coronavirus. Some people are going to emergency rooms and being intubated. Some people are not having any symptoms. It's the same thing with psychological and emotional illness. People have different degrees of it. So again, if you're catching this live, please submit a question. If you have something you wondered, hey, what's it like to work with somebody? What's it like to talk to a psychologist? What's it like to talk to a counselor? There's so much. I mean, what you see on TV, Dr. Phil, these shows, that is not therapy. That is not what people do. What that is, hey, I'm the expert. Listen to me and do everything I say. And I'm going to be, boy, what you do. That's not what it's about. Effective therapy, effective counseling is about you talking. Now, granted, some professionals take that way too far. They'll sit there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, how does that make you feel? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they don't give a lot of feedback. So my bias is to do both, be empathetic, a listener, and somebody who is going to engage with you and give you feedback. So again, please submit a question. Okay, great. Here comes one right now. How do I know if I'm depressed? Great question. You got to look at degrees of depression. Again, how depressed are you? Is it affecting your sleep? Are you not interacting with people? Are you normally have a good libido, but all of a sudden that's fallen off? Are you hopeless? Do things that you used to feel good about, you don't like them anymore? Are you sleeping a lot? Hypersomnia? Are you not sleeping at all? Hyposomnia? What's your eating habits like? What are your, so the way, a good idea of how to know if you're depressed is, do you feel down, lethargic, hopeless most of the time? Now, we all have waves of our emotions. We all have things that ebb and flow. But depression, clinical depression, is marked by a constellation of certain behavior, of certain symptoms. So I just listed a few of them. Um, when you see that your behavior, like if you look at like 6 months ago, I used to be happier or whatever, these are all signs that there may be some underlying depression. Now, does that mean you need to get on medication? I'm not anti-medication, but it's prescribed way too quickly. It's a lot of times prescribed by individuals who have zero mental health training. So they're either, and I have many physician friends, and we get into this all the time jokingly, but physicians who don't have mental health training should not be prescribing mental health medication. At minimum, you should be getting a consult from somebody like me to figure out, is medication indicated for something like this? And a lot of times people are taking these medications and they're being told, oh, you have to take this the rest of your life. Why? Where? They were never made for that. A lot of these medications weren't made for that. So again, if you're just tuning in, somebody submitted a question, please submit some questions. This is about what the person feels. How do they know if they're depressed? So depression, look at what's happening in the world now, coronavirus, all this. There are a lot of depressed people. Now, does that mean they're clinically depressed? Maybe. Is there environmental triggers that are affecting that? Sure. So you have to look at the how your behavior, how your feelings and your thoughts and your mood has changed over the last, I don't know, 3 to 6 months. So that would be a good indicator. Now, what do I do? Let's say I've just talked about all this and you said, yeah, man, I guess I am depressed. That's the first step. The first step is making it okay, saying it's okay that I'm depressed. It's okay. Now let me work on that. Okay. I call that active acceptance. I know people are using that word that now. Again, one of my domain names, activeacceptance.com. This is something I've been working with clients on for many, many years. Active acceptance is the idea that I accept that I'm depressed. I make it okay. Now I'm going to work on it. But most people don't do that. They hate themselves. I hate that I'm depressed. I hate that I'm like this. Why am I like this? And that just feeds it more and more. If you look at some of my other videos that I did on YouTube here years ago, I was talking about all of this. Passive acceptance, again, passiveacceptance.com takes you to my website. Passive acceptance. Okay, I accept that I'm depressed, so I'm going to stay depressed. That's passive. Nothing happens. First step is you make it okay. You say to yourself, I'm depressed. Now, what am I going to do about it? Am I going to work on it, or am I going to allow it to work on me? So what I do with my clients is I try to help them actively accept how they're feeling. And then we go through a series of what's happening to them. And the key to all of this, and if you're watching this, you're sitting there, it's 8 minutes now, 9 minutes, you're catching it live or another time, you're just listening to me. And that's good. I'm not saying listening to people is bad and you shouldn't be listening to podcasts and blah, blah, blah. But talking things out is how you heal. Reading is good. Listening to podcasts, yay, that's great. But you're just passively listening to things. The key to a lot of this healing that we do with people is getting patients to talk. Now, granted, some clinicians, in my opinion, take it way too far. They just sit there and and they don't give any feedback. And the patient feels like, well, dude, I'm just doing all the talking. So again, my bias is trying to find a middle ground. So what can you do if you think you're depressed? Begin working on it. What do you do if you have a cold? You work on it. You start healing. You take care of yourself. Same thing. Mental illness. There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody has a degree of mental illness. Look at the title of this video. Everyone has issues. Who do you know? Who do you know that doesn't have issues? Just one person that you know in your world. If you know one, that's great. I don't know any. I have issues. My wife, we all have issues. It's the degree of issues. I'm comfortable saying I have issues. Why? Because I've worked on a lot of them. I've done a lot of self-work. So I've worked on a lot of things that used to plague me. Depression is a natural form of being a human being. I know the movement on social media is, oh, don't be depressed. Don't let yourself be down. Get rid of negative people. Avoid negative thoughts. It's all BS. It's all BS. It's that let it go movement that is ridiculous. The idea of letting go of trauma. Like if you tell somebody, like imagine I have a patient walks into my office and they tell me about some depression or suicide or trauma from their past. And I look at them and I say, oh, okay, well, let's let it go. Just let it go. No, just let it go. No, don't focus on it. No, just let it go. That's not how you heal. I'm sorry. The people who are telling you to let it go don't know how to deal with negative emotions. They don't know how to work with it. That's why they tell you, just let it go. And they're good. A lot of them talk very eloquently. They speak, you just gotta just be your best self and focus on the positive and all good messages. I'm not saying it's a bad message. It's 1/3 of the picture. Okay. It's 1/3 of the picture. What do I mean by 1/3 of the picture? Well, guess what? There are 3 forms of energy, positive, negative, and neutral, all need to be working together. But you don't hear about that. Why? Because positivity sells books. Positivity sells, you get viewers. I'm here to tell you, there's nothing wrong with feeling negative. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with feeling neutral sometimes. Nothing. What I try to help my clients do is allow all of those emotions to coexist. And it takes work to do that. You may be listening to this, think, oh, great. Now it ain't that easy. You'll spike up and spike down. The key is figuring out, again, the question was, how do I know if I'm depressed? What is depressing me? What is going on? Why do I feel bad? Why do I feel like I'm down? What is going on? Is there stuff? I may slip out a curse. I'm sorry. My patients know I'm very real. Is there shit from my past that's affecting me that I haven't dealt with? Oh, and that's another thing. What? You're affected by things from your past? Good news and bad news. Everybody, and they're both the same. Everybody is affected they're still being affected by their past. If you're watching this, please submit a question, please. Okay. So I know this is brand new. People aren't used to doing it. If you're catching this at a later time, please submit a question. The key to normalizing, and normalizing conversations about mental health is engaging with your own mental health, your own mental illness, accepting your own mental illness and working on it. You see Michael Phelps now. Great. Good job, Michael, talking about how, coaching and perfectionism and all that has caused him. Excellent. Kudos, brother. Kudos. I've worked with dozens, not hundreds, dozens of professional athletes. Okay. I'm not going to magnify things. The effects of needing to be perfect, coaches, tennis coach, a lot of people who are tennis professionals talk about the brutalization by their tennis coaches. Not so much now because I think people are becoming more aware, but perfectionism, the idea that I call it the quest for the best, somebody will probably take that and use it, but it's the idea that needing to be perfect is a recipe for depression. So if I'm working with somebody who's depressed, we'll talk about, where did you get all this pressure put on you? Was it when you were a kid? Did people set unrealistic expectations? These are the things that need to be addressed. And you see these YouTubers or these Instagrammers. And by the way, I refuse to be on Instagram. I'm on YouTube and Facebook. That's it. But you see these people all over the social media platforms talking about mental illness and what is going to help you heal, and they have zero training in the field. They've never worked with a patient. Now, why is that important? I don't know. Let's say you have coronavirus. You're going to go to some guy who had coronavirus and get advice from them? Or are you going to seek out professional help to try to get protocols in place to help you heal? Same thing with mental illness. But the problem is unregulated. People are able to be life coaches and work with people's mental illness as though they know what they're doing. And I'm not saying everyone doesn't know what they're doing. I'm certainly not saying everyone who has my level of training knows what they're doing. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that the idea that I know what will help you because I may have had it, I'm sorry. If that's what you want to entrust your healing in, that's your decision. You should be looking for people who have training in the field of mental illness, have worked with patients in clinical settings, and have worked on their own issues. Okay? So, thank you for your question about depression. I'm going to be trying to do these every Monday, Wednesday, Friday evening. Time is going to be a little, I'm in the mountain zone, so I'm got to tweak the time to see. But please, if you like this, please follow the page. Please share this. The key is it's okay that you have a degree of mental illness. You got to work on it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'll go into some of my own healing work that I've done and how that's helped me. And do I need to do more of it? Sure. That I like I tell many of my patients, I'm the golf pro out there hitting golf balls. I'm not the golf pro. Hey man, I got this thing licked. I know what helps people. I'm the professional. No, I'm working on my game. I'm always working on my game. So I encourage you to work on yours. Be okay with whatever degree of mental illness you have. It's okay. We all have it. Everybody has a degree of mental illness, just like everyone has a degree of physical illness. It comes and it goes, okay? But you got to work on it. If it's traumatic, if you've got sexual abuse, physical abuse, some sort of traumatic event that's happened in your life that's causing you to not feel, holding you back from your potential and all this, find somebody to work it out. You can reach me. Ask me questions. If you want to set up some chats, we can do that. Again, my website is drstephenwalker.com. Again, Dr. Stephen with a V, Walker.com. Licensedpsychology.com. Licensedpsychologist.com, like licensed plumber, licensedpsychologist.com. And you can shoot me a question. So again, thank you for checking this out. I apologize if I did all the talking, but weren't a lot of questions coming in. So please submit some questions. I'll answer them live. We'll get the ball rolling. We'll keep the ball rolling. People are depressed, down. They're locking themselves away. They're feeling like there's no hope. There's always hope. There's always hope to heal. Don't give up. Don't fall into this idea that I'm damaged goods. I'm never going to heal. No one's going to love whatever negative self-talk you've got going on. It can be worked. But the key is talking it out. That's another one on my website, by the way, web domains, talkthingsout.com. Okay? You got to talk things out. You got to talk things out of you. All right. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you again. And again, if you like this, please follow this page and share it. Okay. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Don't give up. Don't give in to the idea that you got to always be positive and that's the only goal in life, because negativity is there. You got to deal with it. You got to work on it. Okay. Take it easy. Hope to see you again. Thanks. Send me a question, please. Take care.